Okay, recap for Friday, the 7th of November, 2025. I can't lie, for the last 2 weeks, generally my bias has been off, right? And I was gonna say it's okay, but it's not really okay, right? So if I'm not 100% confident in the bias, then and it goes against my bias, then it's GG. I'm just gonna need to like have a outlook. Honestly, maybe a bit of a break because for maybe a whole month I was killing it, right? Like bias wise and stuff. I'm there. Like that doesn't mean I didn't make money today. It's just the confidence in like my market, like reading the market, has gone to shit. I've been trying to like put so much stuff together, but I'm gonna need to work on that, right? So getting back to it, right? Getting back to what has the market done, and make sure you get my right charts up properly so I know what the hell's going on here. Right? Because it's stuff that I said, but then I'm not like tracking it really, right? And it's kind of annoying that I'm not doing that. So we get to the recap. Just give me a sec. Let me pull up this chart. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Alright. So let's go to the trading chart here. So what's the bias for the day, right? I know now there's a cluster of stuff, but let's get the bias of the day. This chart, this is the trading chart, right? And first thing first is what liquidity, right? At 9:30. That's how I need to get my bias, and I need to kind of like sort that out, right? This is London. What am I doing? So let's play London out for a bit. There at 9, I should have my bias, right? So what is the market doing, right? Currently, like right now, when we pull up at London, right, we're gonna understand this is Asia high, right? This is London high, and if we get down to the 1 minute, we can see that we make relative equal highs with it. We take it at London, and then we displace lower. On a 5 minute, that probably looks like a classic model 2022, right? Even though we have this iffy, maybe 15 minute, right? Okay, structure shift back into the fair value gap. We want to see on like a 3 minute or something, right? Even though like yes, we want up and down, but still the same concept, right? The fair value gap in the discount, let's just say, right? Here, don't see it. I mean, can we use the 5 minute? But it doesn't matter. Basically, we break down, right? We break down. Right? It doesn't. It looks like a model 2022. It isn't. Where are we right now? Right? The 5 minute, right? We go to. I mean, it is, right? We go to the fair value gap in discount. Boom, there. That's why we don't go down here, because we didn't go to the fair value gap in discount. Break market structure, kind of a breaker, but it's like accumulation, manipulation, and then dumperoonie, right? That's cool and all if we stopped at where, right? This is our Thursday low. And okay. See, this is what I mean. So I mean, it feels like my head is not working these days. Right? So there's too much going on. Too much. I might low-key just take a whole week break. I'm not even gonna lie. Because there's too much going on. And I feel like I don't even know how to think. Because how much like this shit low-key building up on me from. Anyway, at this current time, this Tuesday low, once we come back all the way down, right? And we're building liquidity. We're definitely making a market make a buy model. But is it going to reverse on this week? No. Why? Because we went to discount. And I should remember my whole main even understanding the market that it goes to discount, liquidity, then PDA rate. If, right? If we went to discount right here. And then the next day we went for the liquidity and a PD array, that makes sense, then we would have went up, right? However, this was the signal that now we're not stopping here. And then what's the next liquidity in discount? This, right? If we see a lower time frame, but if we look at the daily, what's an actual liquidity as a swing, right? This, right? So me already like knowing this, and this is how I used to frame the market. I don't know why I'm like low-key lost. This is our main liquidity higher time frame. This is our like draw on liquidity, right? Higher time frame. Seeing that we didn't get it for Friday, okay, so there is a possibility that we can shoot down to it, then reverse, right? So now that I'm marked out what's the liquidity at this current time, we have 1, 2, and 3 buy side liquidities that are important, because these are like our actually 4 buy side liquidity that is important because that's for our current session, which means we need to go get buy side, right? However, that's if we didn't deliver efficiently. We need to go back to equilibrium. This is important because this higher high, the manipulation, shows us that we accumulated, manipulated, and we started distributing. And what we could have done if we kept accumulating, didn't go up here at 7, right? That we wouldn't have went up, right? However, 15-minute chart tells you everything, right? What did we do? We go up, we fill a 15-minute fair value gap. Like, think about this, London. If London just kept zooming down and left this inefficient, we would have went up, taken this liquidity, visit midnight opening price or whatever, and then continued lower. However, because our London drop was efficient, goes to the gap, fills it. No gaps, goes to the gap, fills it. Goes to the gap. Like, it doesn't give us this whole range to like count it to go to discount. There's really no range. Every range that it makes inefficient, for example, here, discount, boom. Here, discount, boom. And notice, it doesn't close above any 15-minute fair value gap. It's heavy. Discount, boom, right? This one goes all the way to the breaker block. Essentially, this is a breaker block. If you look at a higher time frame, this series of up close candles, right? On a what I mean, like looking at hour maybe, right? Look at this hourly. I mean, there is one here, but wait, what am I on about? Order block inside a breaker block, right? So I mean, so that high, that reaction to it, right there, is significant. Why? Because we hit a breaker and order block and then we zoom down. That's how we start our session. This gap is the most important gap for our session. So should draw that out. And if price does not close above that on a 15-minute, then there is no reason to look for the buy side yet. However, know that price will come back because most of the liquidity is buy side. However, look at the higher time frame. It's very bearish, right? It's zooming down, filling the gap, zooming down, liquidity zooming down, and we have a major liquidity close to us. Is it not Friday? Why not just end it and just take it all out and then come back in the range? TGIF, right? And that's exactly what we do for the day. So us opening here, when we're this close, going up, then going down, then going up again for TGIF doesn't make sense. What makes sense is just continuing down to go back up for TGIF, right? So that's what makes sense. I just didn't look at any time frame that's higher than an hour today or like 4 hour, right? I was just trying to find the PD array for us to go to a discount when there is no discount to go to. We've been filling the range. We've been filling the range. For example, right? What a day that you would look for a discount, right? So let's say here, look at this. We went all the way up and left inefficiencies. only look at discount when there's inefficiency gaps that are basically not been traded to, right? And this means from here to here there is a gap that is not been traded to, but once it's filled, now we go up and make a new range and watch no gaps in discount until here that's not been filled, and that where we get an entry, right? So I need to just understand that, use the 15-minute, right? Gaps, then don't whatever, right? For example, if we're going to continue bullish, right, this range to here, that's our discount, right? And we're looking at this leg, right? You see how nothing lines up, right? We are making stuff here, but we need to go to the discount, right? And there's this gap under price. So once we come here and close through it, we're bearish as fuck, right? That means we're definitely, not definitely, most likely going all the way down, because they should have stopped us, right? And I should understand this about price, because that's how I got like the reversal, I guess, right? So just watch 15-minute, and if I don't like anything on it, don't drop down, right? So if I'm aiming for buy side, right, and I'm saying, okay, we're inefficient, however, why would we stop here, right? Like, look at this current range. I expected there's a maybe chance that we could accumulate here, right? And then we open up, right, and manipulate down. So at this current time, this price is 920, I mean, 923, 25,082. So if we pull up the PDRA chart, right, 25,082, 25,082. So around here. So around here, really on the daily, I have this kind of skewed rejection block. And so I'm not really liking that. There's that wick within it as well that I'm looking at, but nothing really that I like. And within that, there is this wick, right? So if we hop on the 1 minute and see where that was, that could have been, okay, we could go into that wick, right? And on top of that, let me just draw this out. Remember this wick, right? Big boy wick, right? So the start of it, let's just write quadrants. Let's just put quadrants, and then let's just put the top of it visible, right? Notice where the first presented fair value gap and this fair value gap lie, and this fair value gap, all on PD arrays, and they display through them all, right? This is 930 opening. If we were gonna go up, there was even PD arrays here. We should have really, the manipulation should have stopped around here, right? That's where it should have stopped. So now I understand where it should have stopped. We can see that it displaces through these PD arrays and holds here at the midpoint, but it's not good enough, right? It goes, the wick goes a bit too much into it, right? So that, why would we manipulate all the way here? Wait, is that the first liquidity? Yeah, we come catch the first liquidity, right? And then go to here. That right there is too much, right? Too much to be like, if we're gonna go down and it's a manipulation, it shouldn't look like this. That's not how a manipulation looks like, right? It's too drastic. So now we run price again. This is what I expected, right? I expected this little bit, and then we overshoot it, go up, and then that's it, right? Take the liquidity back and rebalance the big range, right? So if we go to the hourly, right, rebalance the big range. However, when I'm looking at it in the hour and I'm like, why would we even go up? It like you see, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you've seen this enough that it doesn't look like it's gonna go up. You're just going against price, really. It does not, right? At this time, does not look like, let me remove this stuff. Just displacing, right? Putting a breakaway gap right at the perfect place and displacing lower. Does this look like any signs of reversal? No. And if we look higher, there's 2 swing points that we can get to. So that's my mistake for not anticipating this. However, even when I was looking at short options, it was too big of a risk, right? First is this gap, right, which is at 930. We also have a big opening range gap that would kind of like us to at least visit a bit, then maybe look for shorts. But the market is so heavy that it just used the 930 and dumped. Alright. So if I have the understanding and it does this next time, then I'll just try short, right? Even though this was a big risk, but it's with the narrative, right? On top of that, what we can see is we said what we want to see is the 15-minute get closed. However, what we do is, and let me see if we can get the quadrants here. Right. Yeah, we barely missed the lower quadrant, right? So the bodies here are closing. They're closing near the upper quadrant. Now they're closing below the midpoint. Now around the lower quadrant. And now outside the gap and just wicking into it. And then we have this. If it was a manipulation, I wanted some up and down, and then kaboom, rather than just one kaboom. Or if it goes like this just overlaps most of it. But no, we actually stay down, make sure we have a displacement, a fair value gap through the lows. Once we have a fair value gap through the lows, that should have been the sign, right? Why these lows are significant? Because I'm looking for the lowest low, the initial lows, right? We have bodies fully under them. Okay, if we wicked it, right, we could have went up and then come down because it's unfinished business. Knowing this, it's already too much, too fast. I don't think I was even ready, right? So this is done. Now I have my first presented fair value gap drawn out, right? And I want to see what this price do. If the manipulation is done, price should not respect the first presented fair value gap. It should shoot over it and then start respecting it from the other side to confirm this is bullish. And at the same time, what's this gonna do? A big displacement, even if we're looking at the 5-minute, right? We're gonna disrespect this 5-minute fair value gap, right? Now, and that's at discount, right? So if we look at whole price at discount, this is discount fair value gap 5-minute respected. This one doesn't get visited because it's a breakaway gap. Notice where this low is at. Breakaway. Okay. 5-minute respected in discount. Right? Here. This one's kind of scuffed. Where's the discount? Right, the discount is up here. So we don't even visit this one. So respected because stop loss rules where it doesn't miss. Right here, same thing, right? So this would have been significant if this closes above it. So I just rolled it there, and what you can see is the 5-minute, it goes to the top of the first presented perfectly, drops down. Okay, now we're looking for the same thing and as a breaker. Okay, so we need to wait for it to close above, but no, it goes above again, doesn't displace above through it, and doesn't close above it. And on the same time with ES goes to that first gap that was at 930, right? Also, this looks like a daily PD array that I expected to hold ES. I actually wanted like some sort of SMT or some shit, right? But no, we SMT these highs with ES. And that goes above the 10 a.m. opening price. We had 10 a.m. news, orange folder, which created a volume imbalance. Once we put this candle up through it. We did the patchwork, so now this is done, and that should have been my entry. I was just low-key scared to take it, and I don't know why. That entry, first presented fair value gap, is telling me, nah, you're not going above me, right? This, once price goes through this, I don't know if it offers it, I should try to hit the volume imbalance, right? Maybe lower quadrant of the volume imbalance. Oh, can I sell here? And the range is so high, so even a stop loss above here is a bit significant, but that's where the stop would have to be. And let's see if it offers it. Right? Goes all the way to the top, to the tick. Right? See, I don't like how big of a stop loss that is, but you have to, right? Because look, you shouldn't do it for a third time, because that time will break it. And then what we have left is this green thing, which is the sell side liquidity. That realistically should have been my trade. We go above 10 a.m. We invalidate in the bullish narrative twice, right? Here, this low, if we go at 10:07, where's 10:07 on this chart? 10:07. I'm tracking every relevant PD array. Does this stop at a relevant PD array? Does it? No. So what does that mean? It's bullshit, right? Watch where we're hitting this, right? This is at the top of the wick, right? First presented in the top of the wick. Perfect. Can't ask better than that. And a first presented that's actually a good size, right? Look, it's actually a good size. And compared to all the ranges, it's not like an actual liquidity void. It's like 11 handles or something. That's actually a good size rather than like all these extra gaps. Anyway, so we fill this, make it like fully efficient. Right, go down. This is the second time, right? For the 10 a.m. power 3, open, high, then low and close later, and then we'll go down. Okay, so that should have been my entry, and should have gave myself that one shot. All right, cool. I'm wrong for the bullish. It's telling me it's trying to go bearish. So what's down there? Boom, and then try target that. Yes, the stop loss is a bit big, but I should be more on like, okay, let me be right. Let me try be right, okay? Rather than, oh my god, the stop loss is so big. And then just focus on that. And then, as you can see, and I didn't even know why the stop loss is so big, it even goes to midpoint, right? But, again, look at that. It keeps doing it. I should have let the stop loss there, whatever, and then let price run. You can see price eventually, I think, tags it. Yeah, it does. Tags that sell side liquidity at 11. And then after that, it's meandering around. At this whole time, we do not close or even here visit a 15. We just literally break away from it. The next one is right there, right? And at the same time, 5 minute, we don't. And here, we don't even make a 5 minute. That is your signal that we're gonna reverse when we don't make a fair value gap, right? This is so small, man. It's negligible. Under 5 minute or something like that, that's your first sign. However, you have to wait for the order flow to actually change for that 15 minute, and that's why, regardless of what happens, I didn't enter for what I'm seeking now. I'm seeking whatever buy side, and of course these are relative equal highs now. I'm seeking whatever buy side because we left inefficient. I'm looking for TGIF, and I can tell you roughly it comes next to the initial buy side for the day. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting. We go even lower. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. And now we go and expand beyond that. However, nothing is like safe, right? This is cool, but there's like no SMTs. There is nothing that is telling me like, yo, it's time to go. Everything just looks manipulated. And remember, these ranges are so big, right? I can't trust to put my stop loss anywhere. And let me show you why. Look at that, right? We go all the way up here. Cool. But how would I go on this move? Because remember, my PD array, right? Now we went, where's the liquidity? Let's just remember where liquidity was. It was at these highs. So liquidity is right here. So first PD array, we should have stopped here. No, display through it. And then this, I'm pretty sure, is a 4-hour PD array. It's not a daily, right? This is a 4-hour. So 25 a midpoint. So let me just remember what that was. Yeah, it's a wick on the daily. Why would we stop on that, right? There's also the inversion fair value gap in it, I can see, right? So I'm just looking at this area, but it I don't really care about them like that, right? I want something on the daily there, right? And upper quadrant was right there, right? So if it hit that, and then that's something I would have trusted, right? More to even enter long, if even thinking about it, or like a scalp long, right? One thing that I didn't check is the weekly, but as we can see, there's absolutely nothing here. So, right, under all of this, there's nothing here. So, I can't tell you why it stopped on a 4-hour upper quadrant, and it doesn't really, you know what I'm saying? Look, there's too much. That's like at least 3 handles, right? I don't like that, right? And there's bodies, even though it's on 1 minute, but like I just don't like that. Okay, let's get back. So now we see that, right? We're going up. Let's look at the 4 minute. Do we have a? Nah, we don't. Anyway, watch what price does. Goes all the way up there and then comes back all the way down here. Right. However, right there, that's the first true market structure shift, right? Because every time we done this, and this is technically going to some liquidity, this low gets taken. However, there's no SMT here, so there's nothing to like be confident, okay, we're gonna make the low. However, I just want to drag out what I was marking, and that's once we actually finally break through the high, right? This becomes the breaker block. This has the highest up close candle right there. That in itself could be an entry with a stop loss, let's say at this low, right? Because I wouldn't trust anything. So we'll try that breaker block. If it gives it, I'm not too sure. I mean, there's only one entry in it. Let's see. I did remember that. Stop loss at the low. See, again, that is too much range, right? Too much range. Why is the stop loss at the low? Because I'm kind of allowing for the inversion fair value gap. Okay, so like right here, basically, I'm allowing for this inversion fair value gap is breaker block, right? And yeah, like I'm counting this swing for a breaker block. It's kind of scuffed, but it's the first time that we have a genuine market structure shift. This in itself, if I'm looking at like the 3 minute, maybe 4 minute, I guess, 5 minute, whatever, right, is in itself is a good order block, right? That's a good order block. A series of up close candles, a good order block is a good change in state of delivery. Right? So basically marking that mentally, right? It shouldn't really go down that far, but it could. And I don't know if this is gonna stop me out, right? Because look at this, you know what I'm saying? It stops me out. Anyway, now it works out. But this is where it gets spectacular, right? This is where you don't know, right? And because like, is it gonna respect this gap? Is it gonna go through it? Is it gonna go all the way down? It's just questionable, right? Look, it goes all the way to the top of the 15-minute fair value gap, and you're not safe still, right? This is just like, okay, questioning it, like, okay, it went above midpoint, above acknowledgement. Technically, it should go up, but look what it does. It goes all the way down to where? Where does it go down to? All the way down here. That's taking everybody basically out. It looks like a 2022 model, right? But it's not, because it doesn't actually follow the rules by taking the liquidity, whatever. It's just like the pattern of it, right? And that should be letting it go, right? Anyway, this means just take whatever till the handles. Don't try to catch something too crazy, right? Or all the way to the buy side. However, this is the actual buy that I took, right? This right here, I'm tracking this gap, and at the same time, I'm tracking ES. The second that I'm tracking what it's doing with its first presented fair value gap, right? Because that's like technically the support right there that I'm tracking. Once we go above midpoint, watch, we're hitting the low, then the lower quadrant, then we're not closing below the midpoint. And now I'm understanding that we're getting ready to launch. We're gonna launch, right? So I got an entry here. I even put a stop loss this wide, right? If in case it wants to go down, right? However, I don't expect it, but that's why I de-risked, and then we just kaboomed, right? Straight in minutes, kaboomed. Why? Because we have this liquidity, right? And we have the liquidity higher. All I'm waiting for is a sign of us slowing down. I'm taking my position off, right? So the second that we have this first down close candle, closed, right? Because it could have went all the way down here, and like, you know, I don't know. Like, this day is too volatile, right? I took it off knowing where it's gonna go, right? That's my target. And why? Because that's TGIF, right here, and this is the liquidity next to it. And because we did not go for any of these liquidities, right? So our main thing is technically for today is bullish bias once this objective, I guess, is achieved. And that's what I was not looking at, this objective on like the higher time frame. You should have seen what the higher time frame is really trying to do before trying to see what the hell is in the lower time frame, right? As you can see, we're messing around, right? So that would have been, I would have been down so much if I was holding that. So then gotta took it out, and as you can see, the TP eventually, end of the day, gets hit. That would have been a banger trade that I would no way hold, because look at these retracements. I don't like when price does that much of retracements, right? So yeah, what should I've caught? Realistically, in my play, I should have waited for this to validate, and that makes sense. And then I probably should have taken something around here, right, as an entry. This volume imbalance, just like how I said it, right? I don't like how it went up this high, but hey, that's what it is. But what happens if I lost there? I don't know. See, yeah, this is where like my revenge trading patterns and bullshit come through. Right, I would have lost then. I'm like, oh shit, then that means it's bullish now. Oh, it's respecting this gap, boom, and then I'd flip. You know what I'm saying? That cycle is crazy, and that's just me to not being confident to one bias, because I got both biases. I'm seeing like, okay, the shorts, and I'm seeing the longs. So, and this is way past my time, right? Me at 11:30, if I don't really look or find anything that's nice, right? And what would this be nice, trying to catch the bottom, right? Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, if I got it wrong at the start of the day, I think just wrap it up, right? Wrap it up. And I did get initially wrong, but like this day was gonna come back. I know that for a fact. However, I just couldn't be asked to wait all that long. But eventually, when I came back later and I seen this setup, right, I was like, you know what, we'll take this one. I feel like next week and this week I should just work on taking a break. No charts, nothing. Live life, chill out. And then come back with fresh mind and like fresh perspective on everything. And yeah, try to trade that way. Let's see how it goes. Anyway, this is the market recap. Peace out. Wait, let me just make sure that I run through everything today. Yeah, I believe I did. I believe I did. Right, we get close to midnight opening price, but London was the manipulation. That's what most important. But it takes Asia high. It displays it through Asia low, and we start the dump, and that's what we start the dump. It's Friday. We have an objective that we haven't reached. Friday finishes the business, and we come back. Yep, that's the market recap. Peace out.